COVID brought a lot of challenges for people who experienced the death of a loved one. We weren't able to gather in funeral parlors or have large gatherings to celebrate the life of somebody we really loved. And for a lot of people, myself included, it got really hard. It felt like we needed the space to create some form of ritual to reflect and honor that person in our life who had died. And this was just, a few weeks after COVID had come up. It was before the end of March. Around the end of March, we had finally gotten the call that my uncle had died due to cancer. He was receiving care at home, and even though he was at home, due to COVID, none of our family were really able to come over and say goodbye. We were worried, what can we bring in? Are we going to get each other sick? So for us as a family who's so incredibly tight-knit, and when our mother and my aunt had died, these big gatherings and rituals and celebrations were so instrumental for us through our grief. And this was a time where we couldn't go do that. And it felt so hard. So we thought about how could we still create that space for now until we could do the rituals that we normally did. And I'm very grateful for members of my family really coming together and getting creative. Our family, those who were able to and felt safe enough, we all met up in a parking lot down the street from where they lived, and bouquets of flowers were laid out in big 6-foot rows so that way we weren't too close, so everybody could have a flower with them in their car. And there was probably, maybe 20, I can't remember, but we had this convoy of cars leaving this parking lot and going through the subdivision. And as we approached my aunt's house, there was everything that spoke to who my uncle is as a person. The sports memorabilia, the bottle of his favorite spirits, beautiful art from Denmark because of his Danish heritage. Like, it was my uncle on a front lawn. All those things that were so important to him, and we couldn't hug, and that was such a hard part because we were such a physical affection family. But at least the opportunity to go up at the end of the driveway and share a memory about my uncle, have a toast, cry, laugh a little bit, whatever we needed. But I am so grateful that we were able to find a way to get creative and create that space that our family needed, because a funeral director wasn't going to tell us to do that. They probably wouldn't even thought about it. Nobody was thinking about, how do we properly honor a life after somebody's died when we can't be in community, or we can't gather. And that is a moment I will take with me for the rest of my life when I think about how I can honor and remember people who have died, and it doesn't have to look like a big gathering. We can get quite creative, and we can still honor what we need in our grief. It just might look a little bit different, and that's okay.